Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our World of Paws series.
Today we're discussing the popular anime Food Wars and if its abundance of fan service really affect the show's quality.
Now the show is filled with exquisite gourmet cooking action and mouth-watering food, but it's gotten its share of criticism over the fan service in nearly every episode. But does it really affect the plot or its overall enjoyment?
Yes, and we've seen this type of topic come up with several anime when a fan service isn't just like something that comes up every now and then. For Food Wars, it has in nearly every episode. And the running joke is that the food is just so delicious, so full of flavor, and so fantastic that they tend to lose clothes or get like experiences when they eat it.
And that lets you know just how good the cooking really must be.
Pretty much.
Now that being said, there's a wonderful story arc. The lead character, Soma Yukihira, is a gourmet cooking school student or chef student.
And I'm a chef hero.
Yes. And he has been working in his father's diner for years. His first images are standing on a stool helping his dad prepare food. And his dad just one day gets up and says, "Hey, I'm going to America, New York. I enrolled you in this school. I'll send you money every now and then. Good luck, kid." And, A1 parenting. And he disappears. We still don't know if he actually sends Soma any money now and then. So, Soma's goal here is to graduate at the top of the class and to be inducted into the table.
I think Council of 10.
Council of 10, yes. And show his father that he is a much better chef than he ever dreamt. And some things are disclosed along the way that we don't want to spoil give any spoilers, so we won't tell you that. But as Rascal mentioned, with every delicious dish that's presented for judging to the teachers and chefs and so forth that are there, when it gets to be a dish that is exemplary, yes, clothes fly off, noises are made, and things are shown. So, on Twitter we see a lot of comments about people who don't watch the show because of these additions. But truly, the arc of the show and the little subplots really take more of your attention than these candid shots that are thrown in for maybe 30 seconds or less each episode. Now for us, it's just a matter of mute the TV, laugh your head off. When they're done, turn it back on and get back into the show. And for us, it does not affect the quality of the story or the animation or the writing or the voice acting. Yes, David Machaga has been on here, so has Justin Briner, so have a lot of voice actors that we know. And for us, it just doesn't affect the enjoyment of the show itself.
And I agree. It would be one thing if there was no story and it was just nothing but that and they allowed them to air it. Then I could see the criticism of it that you need to make a decent story. But that's not the case because the show is just really, really good. You can look past that part and see that the show is just really good, really well thought out. The person who wrote the story or the recipes really knows what they're doing, because they got all down to a science on how everything should taste and what brings out the best flavor in every dish, and every type of dish, and from what country it's from. So it's not just an excuse to have fan service. That's just part of the story, and it's sort of, like we said, a running gag where, like I said, it's just so delicious that happens. There is also, here's how you know the dish is good. If they just say, eat something and say, this is really good, really tasty, and nothing happens, that's how you know it's not really that good.
Right.
If all that extra stuff happens, that's how you know the dish is fantastic.
And the head of the school, if you don't see his clothes slowly coming off, the gap in his robe getting bigger and bigger, then you know he doesn't really like the food as well.
Right.
But again, these are just running gags, is a good way to put it. It's just ways to make it funnier and more interesting. Now, just in case you were wondering, Rascal is actually the one who told me about this show. I'd never heard of it, and she initially wanted to buy it on Amazon, and then just by the universe blessing all anime lovers, they began being aired on Toonami from season 1. So of course, I didn't know what to expect. And she says, "Well, Mom, I've read some things about this show, and so I just want to warn you, there may be something that is disturbing." And so we see the first episode, and I see this for the first time, and I was stunned, and then I started laughing hysterically. Now, in the first episode, it happened, I think, a couple of times.
Yeah.
Actually, within the first few episodes. But after probably the first 5 episodes, it begins to be maybe once an episode. And then there are different levels of fan service. Sometimes it's full fan service, and sometimes it's funny, like they have an elderly woman, and instead of showing her, they show her in her youth,
right?
Or they show her enjoying something else,
right?
And if it's someone that they don't think that the fans want to see, they have a hilarious way of depicting the same experience. And again, it's just funny. I've seen worse things in theatrical movies. I've seen some even bawdier things on TV shows that I don't really watch. While we've seen commercials that have things that are very suggestive and pay fan service. You have billboards that pay a lot of fan service. I enjoy reading women's fashion magazines, and there's a lot of fan service in there I'm not even asking for. So, and the same in men's magazines. So fan service is not just something that happens to appear in this anime. It is happening all around us. So either you enjoy the things you love and ignore the fan service for what it is, just a way to increase viewership for a segmented audience that enjoys it, and that's okay. Or you miss out on one of the best animes on a topic you never thought an anime would be made on, like sports anime.
Right.
This cooking anime is just brilliant, and as Russell was explaining, they explain the use of different herbs and why the herb is being used, and how you know that it's increasing the flavor content of a meal. If you added this time, what it'll do. If you added that time, what it'll do. And it's just, there's just so much detail, and you really are learning. It's not just, okay, this is funny, these characters are hilarious, come on Soma, we're cheering for you, my chef hero. But you're learning so much about cooking, more than I've known. And I consider myself to be a very, very skilled chef. I'm going to say chef. I can cook anything. I can prepare anything. And you give me a recipe and I get it right the first time. But it's one thing to just recreate something someone's giving you instructions for. It's another to watch a show that actually takes you through the love of food and love of preparation and love and appreciation and enjoyment all around. And this show is exactly that type of experience.
Right. And another funny part about the service, like we said, there's different ways they do it that's just really hilarious and creative. So it's not just doing it for the sake of doing it because they can, like something Netflix would probably do. There is one other gag in there that is actually hilarious. You did explain that when the food is really good, the fan service happens. It happens to all the characters that eat the food.
Yes.
For Soma, the trick with him is that he does enjoy a lot of the food, but he doesn't go and have fantasies and stuff like all these other people. Most he does is lose his shirt, and he's still thinking about how great the food is and the combinations and the science of it. It's like he doesn't even change when that happens. He's like, wow, this is good. I need to know how to make this just as good too. And that's it. It doesn't even go into the realm the other people go and have fantasies and their souls leave their bodies or something. It's something always weird happening. But him is just pretty normal. Even when he's in the fan service, he doesn't do anything. He's just thinking how to cook the dish.
Soma's the only one who keeps his wits about him.
Right.
No matter what happens.
Right. And that's why it's so hilarious. Like, he's the only one that seems to be okay.
Now, your next question may be, well, is this something my kids should watch? Well, generally anime is not made for kids.
No.
And this one's especially is not. So no, your kids should not be watching this anime if they're under the age of 16. If they're over the age of 16, they've seen this stuff. They've seen it all around them on TV,
internet,
movies, magazines, internet. They've seen it. And it pales in comparison to the stuff that you see online. Again, it's just a trope that's being used to increase viewership, and in some cases it does add some humor. Some cases it's absolutely hilarious when you see the character and the way they're reacting, and you know the personality of the character, but this is what's happening. In some ways it's absolutely hilarious. In some ways it's just a way for some guys and some girls to see some people lose their clothing. And again, it's no big deal. It does not detract from the story or the plot. It doesn't take away from the level of quality of this anime and the writing and the characters. It doesn't take away. And clearly it doesn't, because it's in its 5th season now.
Yes, and this will probably be the final season, because as of recording this, the manga has released its final volume, which means season 5 will probably be the final season to cover the last chapters of the series.
Right. Now, we know you'll be saying, well, hey, it probably made 5 seasons because of the fan service. Well, guess what? I don't think fan service can keep anyone's attention that long. It's just like when I'm watching live action. I love the show Supernatural. I love Jensen and Jared. They're excellent actors who happen to be hot. Now, a lot of people think a lot of women and men watch the show because they're ridiculously good looking. But that only holds you a short amount. There's no way you could have stayed with this show 15 seasons just because someone looks good. There had to be story, plot, arcs, interesting writing, developed characters, tremendous acting, and that's why I've stayed with it this long. It's the same for Food Wars or Soma no Sugeki no Soma.
Yeah.
It's the same way for this show. No one's going to stay with this show for 5 years because some clothes are being thrown off anime characters. You can get a lot of that anywhere online.
And other types of anime, too.
On Bing, other anime, on Twitter.
Tumblr,
yeah. So that wouldn't keep people for 5 seasons. What has kept them is the quality of the show. And if that is what is holding you back, watch a couple episodes, give it a try.
Right. If it's not
guarantee you that small portion, that infinitesimal portion, which doesn't even amount to 10% of the running time of the show, it amounts to less than 1%, you're going to love it.
Right.
Simply, if for nothing but Soma and his... Soma is like the gourmet Ash Ketchum. No matter what happens, he never gives up. He keeps going. He always has confidence in himself. He's nice to other people. He supports other people, and nothing riles him or catches him off guard. So yeah, I would say Soma is the chef Ash Ketchum.
Right. And when we first saw about the some quote-unquote controversy, it kind of made us think of other shows like Fire Force or Hero Academia for having fan service, and both shows, just like Food Wars, are kind of getting not backtrack, but some flag for having that in respective shows.
Now we have to say that the fan service in My Hero Academia and Fire Force is less than in Food Wars.
Right, that's right. But for some reason, they act like all 3 shows are on the same level when they all handle it differently. We just explained how Food Wars handles it in both humorous and, of course, servicey way. Fire Force has it in an even smaller portion, more treated as a trope, like an accidental trope that a character can't control.
But if you read the manga, you will see the fan service is equal to, or in some cases even worse than the fan service on Food Wars.
That's correct.
But they had the foresight to leave it in the manga rather than to place it in the anime.
Right. So they just sort of do a little bit, and it's always a joke. Like I said, it's a trope that the character can't help, and they're wondering how does it keep happening. That's sort of the running joke there.
And for My Hero Academia, it seems to be even in line with the manga.
Right. And they seem to be really only upset when it comes to a lot of the female characters. When it happens to the male characters, it's hilariously ignored altogether. But only with female characters, or in particular Momo, because they do not like her costume and thinks it's too revealing for the character's age.
And Mount Lady and Midnight.
Yeah. But somehow Momo is the biggest issue, despite other characters having way more fan service than hers. So we kind of think, well, if you got this, well, of course they're going to have that. But what level are you saying is so bad when other shows have done way more, but you're treating all of it in every show as if it's the worst possible thing ever, you must shut it down.
And it's the same in both of these shows. Fire Force and My Hero Academia. It doesn't affect the quality of the writing, the characters, the English dub or the voice acting, whether it's Japanese or English, the storytelling, fantastic in both shows, and it doesn't affect it at all. It's just something that's there, and it's the least amount in My Hero Academia. So what? Momo's got a low cut hero outfit. So what? Her body's drawn shapely. I don't care. All I care about is the character, what she does, how she teams up with her classmates, and how she grows as a character. I don't care.
Right, pretty much. So,
and I don't care about Mountain Lady putting her butt in the TV.
Camera.
Her name's Mountain Lady. It's a gag. I get the pun. The first time I saw it, I got the pun. And with Midnight, well, you get to learn more of Midnight's backstory in Vigilantes.
Yes.
And you find out more about how she was this way from the beginning. And it just, in the beginning when she was younger, people were okay with it. But now that she's older, it's like, oh. So it's actually another one of those gags where they're just showing you, hey, this is then and this is now. She's an instructor at UA, and she's an effective instructor. She's an effective instructor, even though she has some fan service issues. But again, all of the characters in these shows are great characters. Even the ones that fan service is paid to in Food Wars, the characters are good. And then some of these characters even just one appearance characters, where they're there, they try the food, and they don't come back. Now the judges make recurring appearances.
Right.
But you've had some that show up, taste the food, they've been customers and so forth, and you never see them again.
Right.
Again, Rascal's perfectly correct in describing it as a running gag. Again, it does not affect the quality of the show.
Right. That's just part of the show, but it's not supposed to be the running force of it.
Exactly. So if you have not seen Food Source, if you've
Food
not
Source?
seen Food Wars, we recommend that you go to On Demand and watch the episodes beginning of season 1, and tune in to Nami when we get back on a regular schedule where it airs every Saturday at midnight or 1 o'clock depending on your time zone. And the episodes are always new unless there is a marathon. And see exactly what it is that you're missing. And let us know what you think in the comments below. If you are a current fan, yay, you got great taste. And let us know whom your favorite character is, Soma, and what is it you like most about Food Wars, even if it happens to be the fan service.
Right. And be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get updates on future World of Paws podcasts.
Absolutely, because you're going to love some future topics.
Yes.
And feel free to give us suggestions in the comments as well.
Yes. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Ask Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment, my Chef Soma Heroes fan.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.
And reporters sitting, flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. With her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket.